success of healthcare reform in America. Betty, you want to start with that?
That has two parts to it. One that's a unique Minnesota part with 17 other states, and then even within states geographic disparities, which is fixed. It's fixed. I had my Mrs. Smith goes to Washington moment. I fixed it. 30 years they said they couldn't. Dave Durenberger worked on it, and he was very helpful behind the scenes. I really appreciated all of his help that he was giving the Quality Care Coalition. Moving forward, this Jim Ramstad tried when he was on Ways and Means, and I figured if we're going to reform the system, we need to reform a system that pays for quality outcomes, not just for how many tests that you ordered. And so I'm very excited about that. Now, the other part of the formula reimbursement that didn't get fixed is what an annual raise or that doctors come to need to expect. But we wanted to do a couple of things. We want to make that part of the budget so it isn't renewed every year. We had plans to do that in the House of Representatives. Unfortunately, they couldn't get 60 votes together in the Senate to agree on it, and it fell short, so we're doing another Band-Aid on it. This needs to be fixed permanently. The doctors and hospitals, medical care professionals should have that. They shouldn't have to be holding their breath whether or not that's fixed, and that's one of my priorities when I go back to Congress. But the doctors in the hospitals here are very, very excited about the geographic disparity taken care of, because even if we fixed the other formula, they were still at a disadvantage. So maybe everybody got a 3% raise, but they lagged behind in being paid what they deserved for their quality outcomes. So there's work to be done, and that's one of the things we need to go back and work on and fix.
Well, I think Congresswoman McCollum deserves a lot of thanks for picking up this issue and for being so tenacious and effective in making sure that recognition of geographic inequity was in the bill. We need to be vigilant and stay at it. As my understanding, and I'm not into all the technical details of this, but the way they actually implemented it, they kind of undid some of what your great policy victory was by lumping too many communities into certain cost tiers, but that's way too technical for tonight. But it's just a point of the importance of staying on these things, even when you think you've had a major policy victory, that you need to really stay at it and continue, because you can pretty well betcha that the people who are disadvantaged by that are going to be back in there trying to undo it and water it down. So I think this whole issue of the Medicare payment formulas does have a lot of ability to threaten the future of healthcare reform, because it's so confusing, because it gets the doctors in the hospitals all ginned up, it gets the consumers nervous about what's really going on here, and it's fairly easy to demagogue and say they're taking $500 billion out of Medicare, and it's just part of what keeps the kind of the political temperature up and makes the conversation more about kind of fear of what's going to happen rather than actually understanding the facts. So I hope that something can happen to kind of take this payment formula issue off the table, so that it doesn't keep taking up valuable time